In this video, this is what we're going to be creating today. Matrix element animated background. I don't know what to call it exactly, but this is what we're going to be creating today. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have so much fun doing this. All right, stay tuned and let's go. The very first thing I would like to do is to create composition for each individual coin. So I'm going to click on new composition. Then I'm going to change this to 1080 by 1080. I already have a custom composition settings already, which is IG post. So, and that gives me 1080 by 1080. Then I'm make sure this is 10 seconds. Of course, I have to name my composition to the very first coin I want to create, which is AVAX. And I'm going to come here and click OK. Is in square composition size. So now the next thing I would like to do is to go to my Illustrator file and then bring in the cryptocurrency logo that I want to use for this. So here in the Illustrator file, these are all the cryptocurrency logos. I actually got this from FreePick. I'll put the link in the description. I want to pick the very first logo that I want to use. So I'll zoom in. So this is the one I want to use. So I'm going to use a script called Overlord. It's a plugin called Overlord. It's actually a very good plugin. So if I select this, I could just easily push all of this to After Effects. So if I click this now, so it's going to push all of this to After Effects. And as you can see, it's appearing here. So I'm just going to alight, then drag it to the center. And then I'll merge this together and make it one. But just in case you don't have the Overlord script, which I highly recommend, by the way, because it makes your job faster. So I can go back to my Illustrator file, then copy this, okay, and create a new project. Just make this 1080 by 1080, then create. We have the same square resolution. I'll paste the coin here, and then I'll just make it a little bit bigger, okay, like something like this. Use my align tool to make sure it's at the center. Then I'm going to save this file, save, and I'm going to save this as AVAX, and I'm going to click on save. Make sure it's in Illustrator 2020, then click OK. As soon as I'm done with that, so I'll go to my file explorer. I'll locate it. So I'll just make sure I can drag this straight to my After Effects. So I'll drag and drop this into my project panel in After Effects. Then I have this dialog box. So all I need to do is to make sure it's in composition, not footage, but composition. Then click OK. So it's going to come in as AVAX 2 because I've actually created one composition called AVAX already. So if I double click this, there you go. You can see that I have my Illustrator file and I have this. But I've done this already. So all I need to do is to just click this and delete. So I'm just going to delete this too. And then I'll just go back to my original composition. So I want to merge these two together. So all I do is I like these two. I'll use a script from Motion Design School called Motion Tools. I'll put a link in the description too as well. And I'm just going to click on merge. So if I click on merge, it will merge these two shapes together to make it one. And I'm just going to scale it. So I'm going to press S for scale. Then just put in the value 245, and I have this. Select this, make sure it's aligned perfectly to the center. So we've been able to create our first coin. I'll keep on creating the other coins. So let's create more coins, and I'm just going to click this. I'm going to duplicate, Ctrl D to duplicate. So I'm going to change this. I think I'm going to use the Binance coin for this. So I'm going to click out, and if I double click this, I'll take this, I'll delete. So I'll go to my Illustrator file once again, and then I'll look for Binance logo here. So there it is. So I'll select this and I'll use this plugin. So I'll just click on push to AE. As soon as it's done, I'll highlight the two, bring them to the center, then zoom in where I can see it, then merge the two together. Then after that, scale 245. And here we go. I'll align it to the center. I'll keep on doing this until I have about 12 to 10 coins or 10 to 12 coins, and I'll pick it up from there. So this is the part I like to just keep in order for us to save some time. So I've finally created all the coins, and as you can see that I've created a folder for it. So we have all the cryptocurrency logos in all of this. So the next thing I'd like to do is to create a row composition. I'm going to click on this, and I'm just going to make this 500 by 1920, and I'm going to title this row 01 because I'm going to have many rows. I'm going to click on OK. So the next thing I would like to do is to drag in one of the Bitcoin. So let me drag in Bitcoin first and drag it here. I'm going to scale this down to about 10%. So it's going to be really small. So you guys can see it's really small, which is fine. It's going to be for what we really want to do. And I'm just going to drag this up. So let me use this action save. So I would able to target where I want this to be. Something like this. So I want to apply effect on this now. Let me close this up. I'll go to my effect and preset, and I'll type tint. So I'll click this, and I'll make sure I drop it on top of the cryptocurrency logo here. And I'm going to change the color of this. So I'm going to click this and change the color. So I'm going to put a specific value here, but you can see that it's green, very saturated green. I'll click OK. And I would like to animate this. At this point, I'm going to make this the amount of the tint to be 0. Click this, then I move forward 10 frames. How you can do that is hold down Ctrl Shift, then arrow button, the right arrow button. Then I'm going to set this to 100, so it will become green. If I click on my layer and click on U, and we have this simple animation. Use my time indicator, put it on about 1 second and 5 frames. So I'm going to hold down Control and my right arrow key, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to click on this T for opacity, set animation here too as well. Then I'll go forward 4 frames. I'm using my Control and the right arrow key, and then I'm going to make sure the opacity is at 0. Click on my N to trim my work area. And if I just play this now, okay, so let me drag this to about 2 seconds. So if I click this, can you see? So that's a simple animation, and that's like the foundation of it all. The next thing I like to do is to duplicate this, drag this under to about this point. I'll go to my project. So I need to replace this duplicated Bitcoin logo here. So I'll make sure that this is selected and this is also selected, then click and drag, holding that Alt to replace. As soon as you do that, you see you have 2 different coins now. And I'll just keep duplicating, keep having more. So let me do this again, duplicate this and drag this down a little bit more. I'll also take this and this, then replace. Okay, and I have this too as well. I'll just keep duplicating and replacing until I have all the coins in this particular row. Definitely going to skip this not to take so much time. So I have finally created all the coins, and if you look at this very well, you can see if I play this, they all have, can you see? They all have the whole animation on it. So let me just fit to screen. So the next thing I would like to do is to offset all of this by 3 frames. Let me take this to this point here, and I'm just going to drag this back by 3 frames. 1, 2, 3, right? Then select all of this. So there's a faster way for us to achieve this. We are going to use this script. So I'm just going to come in here and use the sequence tool in part of this script. I'll go to offset. I'll do 3 frames. Okay, and I'm going to change the arrangement of this to the other way. And I'm just going to click on sequence. You see that it arranged everything by 3 frames. If I play this is what I have. Right, you can see that we're already getting to that point. It's already looking like what we want to create. The next thing I want to do is to create another composition called the main row. So because we're going to have so many rows, I'm going to click this and I'm going to call this main row comp. I'm going to put in 1080 here, and I'll leave this as it is and make sure it's 10 seconds long, 25 frames per second. Click OK. Now I have the main row. So what I would like to do is to go to my row 1, then drag it down. If I play this, this is what I have, which is cool. Then all I'll do is to duplicate this like number of times, then have this, in different ways. So I can take this to the side just to have something really dynamic. I should leave this out for now. I might still need to adjust some at the end of the day. So what I would like to do is to go to my row 1, right? I'll come here, duplicate this, which is row 2, go to my row 2. Or first of all, let me first of all replace this. So I'll replace this with row 1, then go inside my row 2, and then I'll just change some coins so that it will look different and dynamic. So I'm just going to start swapping this. So let me click this and change this, then click this and change this. I just want to make sure that row 2 is quite different from row 1. So I'll just start swapping all of this. So I'll continue to do this until I have something really different. So let me just keep this a little bit. So I finally have row 1 to row 12, right? And I've actually inserted them into the main comp too as well. So that I can have varieties of coins. So if I just drag this forward, you can see that they are quite dynamic. They are not all on the same. You can still see some similarities or the arrangement similarities, but for most of the rows, they're actually quite different. And the next thing I would like to do is to offset this. I'll offset this randomly. I'm not going to make use of this script, even though I can actually offset this randomly here too, but I'm just going to do this manually here. Let's get to it. So this is what I have. We are almost done. So the next thing I like to do is to create the main comp where we are going to have multiple row comps. So let me quickly get to that. So I'll click on this. I'll make sure it's the same size actually. Then click this, title this main comp. I'll make sure this one is about, let me see, 20 seconds. Then click OK. So we have something like this. Now what I would like to do is to bring in my main comp and just drag it here, right? And then we have to duplicate this couple of times. Just duplicate, offset them by 2 seconds. So we don't need to duplicate this and start having something different. Just duplicate, simply duplicate from the layer side. So I'll select this to Ctrl D, duplicate it, take this to about 4 seconds. You have something like this. Select this, duplicate, drag this up to about 8 seconds here, 8-second mark. Okay, I think this is good. So if I play this, this is what I have. The reason why I choose that 2-second mark is because it's, makes it flow really good. It looks very seamless, and we are almost done. The next thing is to create a background. I'll right click, go to new, solid. So I'll name this BG, which is background, and I'll make this a dark green, right? So I'll put in some values here. So okay, then click OK, drag this below. You can see that we're already getting there. Then the next thing I would like to do is to create an adjustment layer. And I'm going to name this to glow. I'm going to come here to my effect and preset, then type glow. I need to use one from the stylize folder, then drop it here. You can see that we begin to get some results here. So I need to tweak the settings. So I'll make this about, let's say 220, which is the glow radius. The intensity to about 1.2. Okay, you can see we are beginning to get some results here. But one thing I like to do is to go to my color depth here and I'm going to alt click this until I get 16 BPC, so the color will be accurate. And I'll go back to my glow. I think this is looking cool, but we can still go further. So I'll click this and I'll duplicate this, Ctrl D to duplicate. Now this really look blown out, so all you need to do is to reduce this 27 pixels. So I'll reduce this to about 0.9. okay, increase this to about 65, and we get something like this. So if I play this, this is what we have. This is how you make matrix concept out of anything. Actually, it doesn't have to be letters, it doesn't have to be logos, it could just make it for anything. We are actually done with this, but of course, let us find a perfect loop area. So I'll zoom in and I'll look for where I can let this start from. Maybe I can let it start from here. Press B to shorten my work area to this point. What I'll do is I'll take a snapshot of this, take snapshots. It has taken a snapshot of it. So I'll try and look for a exact same frame going forward. So let me just zoom out a little bit. Let me zoom out a little bit and let me just see. Maybe at this point. So I'm going to click on this to see the difference. So there's a difference. So this can loop. So let me go 9. So it's almost there. So let me go back one frame. Okay, I think this works. By me clicking this, you can see it's the same. So I'll just click on N. So if I play this now, it should loop perfectly. So one good thing about this is we can do this procedurally. You can easily just replace the coin with any other object, even with text. You can replace it with text. If I stop this, if I go to my AVAX, okay, so I have this. I can still go to my Illustrator file and use these Japanese looking letters. I can just do this by just clicking this and then making sure I click on my plugin here, push to AE. Click this, it's actually quite small, but first let me delete the one that is underneath. I don't even need to delete it, I can just hide it. Right, click this. So let me click on my transparency. Okay, so this is it, and I'll make sure the anchor point is at the center by clicking this, and I'll just scale this. So I'll scale this to about 825. Okay, then add fill. So I'm using Copilot's plugin, which is very easy for you to add your effect. So add fill, then go to my effect control, change this to white, go back to my project, and I have this. So if I click my transparency one more time, I have this. Make sure this is aligned to the center. And if I do all of this and replace all of this with all this Japanese letter, this is the kind of result we will get. You can see it looks really cool. We've come to the end of the tutorial. If you really like this, please make sure you like and also subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.